the FBI is arresting men for gaming together. I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing lasts forever. And the writing was very much on the wall. You know, society is was built by men and maintained by men. And the only people that can stop tyranny within society are men. So of course, you know, there is a push to keep men separated, to keep men divided, to keep men demoralized, to keep men silent, because men are the only ones who can stand up to tyranny. And we're seeing now that where you have groups like the FBI that are going after people playing games on Roblox, it's absolutely insane.
Federal government just needs to find any single way just to watch everything you're doing. The FBI and the DHS partner with gaming companies to fight, quote, extremist gamers. According to the Government Accountability Office, a nonpartisan agency that audits other government departments on behalf of Congress, the FBI and DHS should use the same strategies that allow them to police extremism on social media to regulate the gaming industry. So they've partnered up with 5 different entities. 2 remain anonymous, but 3 are Roblox, Discord, and Reddit. The United States government currently categorizes violent extremist incidents into 5 distinct groups based on motivation: race and ethnicity, anti-government or anti-authority sentiment. So if you don't like the government, then you're an extremist. Animal rights or environmental sentiment. Abortion-related issues. Like, could that be more vague? What could that, is that like pro-abortion, against abortion? What is that? And other domestic terrorism threats not otherwise defined. So anything, they just deem it. And it goes into a little more detail here. Look at the anti-government one. Domestic violent extremists with ideological agendas derived from anti-government or anti-authority sentiment, including opposition to perceived economic, social, or racial hierarchies, or perceived government overreach, negligence, or illegitimacy. So if you think the government is intruding on your life too far, you're an extremist. And what's weird too is abortion-related violent extremism. It says including individuals who advocate for violence in support of either pro-life and pro-choice. What does that mean? If someone threatens someone to kill them if they don't get an abortion, kill them if they do get an abortion? And then the last category, domestic violent extremists with ideological agendas that are not otherwise defined under or primarily motivated by one or the other domestic terrorism threats. Such agendas may combine personal grievances and beliefs with political concerns and aspects of conspiracy theories, as well as bias related to religion, gender, or sexual orientation. So basically, you're better off just not saying anything on a mic online ever. Call of Duty is going to get so boring now.
I mean, guys, that's what it's all about. It is about silencing men, preventing men from speaking. It's about policing speech, policing thoughts, policing ideas. You know, this is how society has changed so much. The internet is not a real place. It is a virtual thing. If it goes offline, that's the end of it. It's a series of protocols. That is all that the internet is. However, when you look at platforms like Facebook, Facebook controls the minds of people and controls the behaviors of people. It polices speech. So you start to believe that the things that happen in on Facebook or on Instagram are the way that the world is. Women go onto Instagram, they have a bunch of thirsty dudes in their DMs, then they walk outside. Not a single man speaks to them, but they still feel and believe that they are hot stuff because they have all of these simps in their DMs that will send them a couple of dollars, for them to bust it wide open, on their lonely fans, only fools pages. And that's just it's a sad and pathetic reality, but that's how it works. And these social media platforms, they basically convince you that, oh, this type of behavior should never be allowed in the real world. This type of speech should never be allowed in the real world. And here's the thing, bro. These are policies that are set in place by private companies. So, for example, YouTube is not a freedom of speech platform. There are many things that we cannot say on the platform, and we have to follow community guidelines. The problem is that people don't comprehend the community guidelines that we follow on YouTube are designed by a private company that we have to respect on the platform itself. Those views, those guidelines are not reflective of our rights within society. And that's the same thing with social media platforms like Facebook, like Instagram, and various others. So you end up with people who start to say that, well, if this is how we behave on social media, because these are people who help to push for these policies to be like that, if this is how we are supposed to behave on social media, then this is how we're supposed to behave in the real world. And if we were able to forcibly get social media companies to police certain behaviors, then we can also police these behaviors in the real world. Let me be very, very clear. What's happening with the FBI? The FBI also knows that they cannot enforce a lot of these things in the real world, because they want to surveil, they want to record your conversations, and they want to use it against you. They'll basically hold stuff for years and then use it against you when they have the opportunity. But no. This is more so about conditioning behavior, conditioning you and controlling what you say, what you do, where you go, how you live your life, and so forth. And even though they're well aware that they cannot enforce these things and do many of these things in the real world, they will use social media platforms. They will use gaming. They will use gaming companies, video games, and their policies to govern your behavior and control what you think, what you do, what you behave, what you're allowed to think. All of these things. This is what the ultimate goal is. It's about control. Like I've said this before, they talk about kindness. Oh, it's kindness. Doing this for, tipping is kindness. No, it's not. It's control. It's conditioning you to surrender your money or else. It's or doing being showing this act or doing this or not, or or respecting certain forms of speech. Like if someone says they want you to address them a certain way, you should do it. That's not kindness, it's control. Because it goes from kindness to you will go to jail if you don't do this. There are guys who are now being thrown in jail for offending women online, in online platforms. It's insane. Like there are men who are being charged for grape, right? Based on interactions with a woman with women in online in the metaverse or in online games. I'm so serious. Like they never met this person before, but they said that their avatar did something lewd. The avatar did something lewd, and then it is reported to the police, and the police go and apprehend the man and put them before the court, and then they tell them basically either you plead guilty, or we're just going to hold you in prison. We're going to hold you in jail for a long period of time. You're going to have to spend tons of money trying to defend yourself, and if you don't have any money, then good luck. There's the public defender, and they're on our side. And in the event, and then here's the thing, in the event that they can't get you, they'll drag it out for as long as they can. They'll drag it out for years. All right. And if you refuse to plead guilty, if you refuse to actually go down, then they'll just drop the charges. But don't forget that they can always reopen the case later on. So they'll wear you down. They'll wear you down. And even if the case does eventually go to the Supreme Court or the highest court in these countries like the United Kingdom, it still doesn't matter to these to the government, because they're not. It's not like they're going to get fined by the Supreme Court. Have you ever noticed this? Anytime the government oversteps and violates someone's constitutional rights, in many cases, there are no consequences, zero consequences, because they found that someone's constitutional rights were violated. Well, sometimes it doesn't necessarily mean that the government will have to even admit guilt, or basically say, okay, well, or pay anything. And then here's the thing: just because they are found guilty doesn't mean the government instantly has to fork over cash. That's something they can fight over for years. All right, and that's a whole separate lawsuit. And guys, it is a sick thing. I told you, we do not have rights in the Western system. We do not have rights. The Bill of Rights are not an actual Bill of Rights. They are a Bill of Privileges that can be taken away from us at any given time. And people need to wake up and realize that. By the way, guys, I have a channel called Angry, where I discuss gaming, anime, geek stuff, nerd stuff, real world stuff, and whatever else interests me. You can go and find that channel. a link in the description of this video. So awesome. I just kind of relax over there. It's so chill, has a great vibe. Go over there, go to that channel, subscribe, support my work. And also, I have another channel called Men Walking Away. And Men Walking Away is pretty cool. If you're enjoying the content that I put out here on Men Walking Away, I discuss more of the same. So if you're enjoying this content, head over to Men Walking Away, and you'll find more of my content over on Men Walking Away. So just double doses of angry. And there's a link to that channel in the description of the video as well. I mean, guys, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Nothing lasts forever, and women have brought this upon themselves. I want to know your thoughts on this. Men are being arrested for just gaming together. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments, and let's talk about it there. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video, and just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men Walking Away, and cheers.